Hi, this is Nicholas Bell with IONCINEMA, here to review Funny Face, the fifth film directed by Tim Sutton, which premiered at the 2020 Berlin International Film Festival in the Encounters program. It is being released courtesy of Gravitas Ventures, April 2nd, 2021, and it is, of course, no relation to the 1957 musical Stanley Donen classic starring Audrey Hepburn and Fred Astaire. As in the Berlin Film Festival's description, this is a fairy tale about urban development and gentrification in Brooklyn, about two orphans of unchecked capitalism, which kind of is overall the theme and rather gets put across in extremely clunky terms. However, it stars Cosmo Jarvis, who, if you haven't seen William Oldroyd's Lady Macbeth, that to me is a must-see cinema and performance. He's playing Saul. He lives with his grandparents, played by Rhea Perlman and Dan Hedaya, who are in only one scene. But we learn very quickly that they're about to be evicted out of the brownstone they live in because it's been purchased by a developer who is going to make a parking lot for an incoming baseball stadium. So they're very upset. Saul is very upset. A mask just so happens with a very leering grin falls out of the sky, literally, and he begins to wear that around the city. Outside of a bodega, he meets the other main character, Zama, played by newcomer Dela Meskienyar, and she, we also learn, is displaced, living with her aunt and uncle, has gone through her own family trauma. They're concerned about her behavior. We meet her running around in the streets late at night, and right before getting into her aunt and uncle's home, she puts on a niqab, which is sort of like a hijab, but it covers every part of the body except for the eyes. So they're both characters that are hiding behind a mask, a wardrobe per se. So they meet outside this bodega and spend the evening together. It's kind of very sweetly and simply told, and there's some level of poignancy there where Saul brings her back to his grandparents and lets her spend the night. She's clothed in his bed and he sleeps on the floor, and they begin to spend more time together. We see that he is kind of pseudo-stalking this developer played by Jonny Lee Miller, who's responsible for what's happening to Saul's grandparents. Every of the handful of sequences featuring Jonny Lee Miller is where Funny Face really falls apart and hard. It is crunchy, it's corny, it is literally the definition of camp because it completely misses the mark, which maybe there was some dark humor that's supposed to be there, but it is, when we're depicting elitist one-percenters, making them into a caricature doesn't really help anybody, and that is exactly what Sutton does, which culminates in a really silly scene with his father, played by Victor Garber, where I think we're supposed to draw allusions to how Jonny Lee Miller's developer is kind of like Donald Trump, per se. Saul is positioned as kind of a James Dean, brooding young man archetype, but really all I could see with him on screen was 1970s era James Caan. His relationship and performance, it's very method. Tom Hardy came to mind a couple times, and of course Travis Bickle, the De Niro character in Taxi Driver. There's some nice chemistry between Saul and Zama, and one almost sees how this could have been a brooding take on True Romance, the Tony Scott film with Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette. But the Jonny Lee Miller sequences completely kind of ruin that energy. On the other hand, it is a magnificently shot film. The cinematography from Lucas Goth is, it's amazing, for lack of a better word. And the sound design and the score, Philip Mossman, the electro synth score definitely enhances a certain mood, and even a sequence in a bar where they are dancing together to a song by O.V. Wright. I think it's called 8 Men, 4 Women. Also a really great use of that song. So it's too bad that there's such like great little moments, but it doesn't really cohesively come together as a score. Mossman's compositions, in fact, kind of reminded me sometimes of Badalamenti's score for Blue Velvet. Overall, I think this is, rebel with a cause per se, but it just really never goes anywhere and spins its wheels on this meta idea that if we're talking about unchecked capitalism, it's just too small and too oblique to correctly, and gives us kind of hollow characterizations when what we really need was to have felt something for these people beyond the basic misfortune of, you know, being victims of circumstance in this problematic free system, free market system. Overall, I would give Funny Face 2 out of 5 stars. Thank you.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.